So just a little Instagram versus reality catch up. We've had an intense couple of days. Started off with us sailing to Roscoff, which has a big marina, and we were planning on staying there for sort of 5-6 days to wait out the next couple of storms that are coming through. But when we arrived, we didn't realise that there was a sailing event on and they couldn't accommodate us, which meant a very sort of last minute check of the charts as to where we could moor up, because the winds were picking up overnight. Luckily, further into the bay there was a river which had an anchorage, so we headed down that and moored ourselves up, but didn't really sleep that night just because it was so windy and it was a very narrow channel. At low tide there were sort of oyster beds either side of us, and we had our anchor alarm on, we had our sort of depth alarms on, but we both just couldn't really sleep and kept getting up to check that we were holding and check that we weren't drifting into anything overnight. And obviously with the big tidal swings here, we're on spring tide, so there was an 8-meter difference between high tide and low tide, meaning that we had to sort of calculate how much chain to put out, and we just were worried about how it would hold in the sort of differences, especially because it was very windy when it was high tide. So we were fine, it was fine overnight, but we knew that we needed to ideally get somewhere a bit more secure, as the weather was only going to get worse. So after 2 nights there, the weather looked like it was clearing before the next storm came, so we decided to head out to the next marina that we could get to. Roscoff doesn't have any availability until next week. So we checked the weather. It looked like it would be fairly windy, but a crosswind. So it was only 30 miles. So we thought, okay, let's go for it. But the forecast wasn't entirely accurate, and it ended up actually being a headwind, which meant we spent 9 hours tacking upwind. So that's going in zigzags. Because the direction we wanted to go into was basically directly into the wind, so it ended up being much further than 30 miles. And because of the recent storms further out into the Atlantic, it meant that the swell coming into the channel was quite significant, sort of like 5-meter plus swells. So for 9 hours it felt like we were in a washing machine, and I was incredibly seasick, sort of vomiting like the whole day, which wasn't ideal. So thankfully we did arrive in one piece, boat and us, into the marina, and after some food and a good night's sleep, I'm feeling a lot more positive about the ongoing journey. I was sort of questioning my life decisions yesterday, but we're okay. Boat seems to have held up really, really well. So we're going to hunker down here for the next 4 days, whilst the next storm sort of passes, and then our next stop will be round in Brest, where we need to start thinking about crossing the Bay of Biscay, which I'm a lot more nervous about now given the recent conditions, but we've got plenty of time. We're not in a rush. We're going to spend lots of time planning it, and if anybody has any advice or tips, or has done it before and fancies coming along, then please drop me a message. All help will be gratefully received.